A big rivalry resumes again on Sunday. Manchester United taking on Leeds. Looking forward to the game. This looks like an exciting game on paper, like it was last time out. Manchester United hadn't played Leeds for fucking donkey's years, and then we smacked them up 6-2. Some crazy amount of goals early on in that game saw Manchester United win comfortably on the day. Two great finishes from Scott McTominay that day, turning into Kaka that day. Probably his best performance in a Manchester United shirt in that game, in my opinion. And we were very, very good for the win. One of our biggest wins this season. And I'm expecting goals in this game again for Manchester United and for Leeds, because the way Leeds play, you're always expecting chances and goals. Though they are in good form, Leeds. They did beat Man City a few weeks ago away, and that was with 10 men. They beat Man City with 10 men. It was a bit of a freak result, to be honest, because Man City in that second half went clean through Leeds went clean through when Man City were attacking and trying to force the win, and obviously they brought forward plays on to try and win the game, and it backfired on them in that one. Be a different type of game, this one, 11v11. So Manchester United going out there, I would just like to see Manchester United go out there and attack these and put some chances away. I really would. We're in better goal scoring form now in the last few games than we have been previously, and I think a lot of that's down to Cavani and Greenwood being in good form. Both of them are in good form, which is great fucking news for Manchester United, because at this moment in time Rashford's struggling with injury and hasn't trained again this week, and Bruno Fernandes has been off form. And previously, when Bruno Fernandes wasn't at his best, Manchester United would still be relying on him to do something, or we wouldn't fucking do a lot. But now at this moment in time, Cavani's in good form and Greenwood's in the best form of the season, which is great at the business end of the season. Hopefully Greenwood can keep it up and maybe end up on quite a few goals at the end of the season, when earlier on in the season he hardly had any, which will be fantastic to see. It was only a few weeks ago he only had one Premier League goal. Now he's up to 5. He's got a few in his last few games. It seemed to be a spell where he got about 1 or 2 goals in about 18, 19 games, but recently his performance has been better. And obviously Cavani as well was rested for half that game in the previous game against Burnley, but we scored 3 against Burnley and 3 against Tottenham, so we're starting to get the goals again. Manchester United, that's what we want to see. Goals, goals, goals. And I'm expecting a high scoring game in this particular game. I think they've got an injury problem for Rafinha, which is an important player for Leeds United, but their main man should be up front in Bamford. He's got a lot of goals this season. He's one that Manchester United have really got to keep an eye on. It was a bit unlucky not to, could be included in an England squad actually. He's been in good form if there was a few more injuries, which probably a bit unlucky not to be in the previous England squad, but he did have a couple of injury problems himself not too long ago, but he has been a revelation for them this season in keeping them in the mid-table range. Now, Manchester United might choose to switch it up a little bit, but I wouldn't expect too many changes for this encounter, to be honest. I would expect pretty much a full team, because all the while the title is still there and hasn't been won by Man City. I suppose Solskjaer's really got to go for it and just try and win every single game. Just hope that Man City fuck up and lose about 3 games out the remaining games, which is very unlikely to happen. But all the while there's still a title race open. You've still got to put out a strong team and try and win the game. Anyway, you want to win the game any fucking way, because I think second position is pretty much secure for Manchester United. I don't see us falling below that, and I obviously don't see us winning the league. But I don't expect too many changes to the starting lineup. Henderson, I think, will stick in goal. Was shaky in the last game against Burnley. Didn't have a very good game, but it wasn't really his fault on the goal. But to be honest, he was very shaky and could have let a howler in at times in that game. But he seems to be first choice now anyway. Back four is going to pick itself. Wan-Bissaka, Shaw as the fullbacks, Lindelof and Maguire. Then it's going to be McTominay and Fred in there, and we know it will be most likely anyway. I think Rashford might not make this game, so I think he's going to go for Pogba on the left, obviously Greenwood on the right, Cavani in the striking position, and Bruno Fernandes in the number 10. I've got a feeling it might just be Rashford that misses out on the substitutes bench. We do need him for the week. We could probably get away with leaving him on the bench for this one. If he hasn't trained, what the fuck is the point in playing him? But if he is fit to play in this game, then I would take Fred out, and I would put Pogba and McTominay in there, and I'll put obviously Rashford on the left. I think that's about as strong as Manchester United could get. I would go McTominay and Pogba obviously in midfield, and then them front players. I think that would be the strongest team Manchester United could possibly get out if everyone's fit to play. Now, as I say, Leeds are going to come in and try to attack. We know what Manchester United are like. We're devastating on the counter-attack. When teams have tried to attack Manchester United, we're usually quite good at picking them off. We've seen that when we played Man City and teams like that. We've seen that in the Europa League when we played Sociedad. We were able to pick these teams off when they're open and try to have maybe a bit more of a go against Manchester United, and that's what Leeds are going to do. They're not going to sit back. Although Burnley didn't play that bad against Manchester United, they didn't completely sit back for the whole game and defend like I thought that they were just going to put a low block completely and shut us out. But second half, when Manchester United did have a bit more of the possession and did go for it a bit more, we managed to break them down. And most teams we still have managed to break down, even with that low block. We haven't hammered teams and swatted teams aside all the time, and we've sometimes fallen behind against the smaller teams, but we have still come back and won games 2-1, 3-1. And I would expect Manchester United to get the job done in this game. I'm not expecting the 6-2 like before and to get some early goals like that, but it would be nice just to get the job done in this game and just move on. It's a big rivalry. We know what the rivalry is like. We haven't played these dirty Leeds fuckers many times in recent years because of the fact they haven't been in the Premier League. We did once play them in the FA Cup and get knocked out when they were in the lower leagues, but we haven't played them a lot in recent years, which it needed the rivalry to come back and spice up the Premier League a bit. So I'm hoping Manchester United can get the job done in this game. I think with the form of Mason Greenwood, I think that should, and the fact that Cavani's in good form as well, should be enough, hopefully, for Manchester United to get the 3 points. I mean, he could change it up a little bit, and if he decides to rest maybe or rotate Mason Greenwood, he has played a lot of football, but I would personally keep him up there. I think we've still got the options of Dan James as a substitute in this game. He could be quite useful in this game as a substitute with his pace, with the way Leeds play. So I wouldn't be surprised to see him at some point in the game. I'm just not expecting him to start. I think Cavani and Greenwood have got to start because they are the two real informed players in the Manchester United team. There was talk that Cavani asked to be on the substitutes bench for that game against Burnley because he didn't feel fit enough to play the full 90 in that, which is a bit worrying, concerning, but it doesn't look like he will be remaining at Manchester United next season. But hopefully we can get some more goals out of him between now and the end of the season, help us try and win a trophy as well and finish second, and it will be great service from Edinson Cavani this season. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below on this game. I do think that with the way they're going to be pretty open and come and attack Manchester United, that we will pick them off. I'm going for Manchester United winning this 3-2. I think Leeds will score some goals in this game. I think that they will come and attack and get some goals because the frailties are still at the back for Manchester United, but I do feel that Manchester United going forward will probably have too much for them. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you're new. I really do appreciate all the likes, comments and subscriptions and all the shares on Facebook. Thanks very much for your support, and I'll talk to you all again soon. See you.